Welcome back. You are listening to the Tuttle Group Radio Hour. I am your host, Andy Tuttle, and joining me right now is a good friend and owner of Community Insurance Advisor, friend and partner of the show, Mr. John Allen.
Good day, Andy.
Hey, brother. Thanks for coming back.
Good to see you.
You gonna bring some actual value this time, or are you just gonna yammer?
I'm gonna do my best.
Good. To yammer or to
Yes,
bring value?
to yammer both.
Okay, good, great. Happy to hear it. Remember, if you've got questions during or after the show, you can call me 469-319-0660. You can also text that number. And remember, we've also got the resources for you. All the shows segmented out by category, from financial wellness to credit to buying or selling or refinancing or whatever it is you need help with. And that's all on our site at andytuttle.com. All right, John. So I warned him in the first segment that I was going to get on a little bit of a rant because I'm a little upset, but it's for a good reason. But first, I know I got to ask you this because I always screw this up. But what is it that we always talk about, the three things that people want out of a professional, that they look for when they're looking to do business with someone?
They look for, can I trust you? Do you care about me? And are you competent at what you do? Can you really pull off what you're telling me you can do?
Right. And then I think the fourth one, the Harvard Business School, is quality. I think which is way below. It's like way below quality.
Yeah. See, I would argue quality is part of the competency thing.
Well, I'll let you take that up with Harvard.
Okay.
The business school. You can just do that. The Harvard Business Review. You can write a review about the Harvard Business Review and see what they think. But I think they had 4. But that's exactly right. It was basically, and they put it differently, but it's confidence. It's, are you my advocate? Are you competent? Right.
Right.
And then quality. Is that the ones you said?
Can I trust you? Do you care about me?
That's right.
Are you bought in? Or are you really going to take care of me?
Right.
That's the essence of it.
And that's right. And Stephen Covey actually did a similar thing, and he talked about it in his book and talked The Speed of Trust. And there's 2 types of trust. There's a character and there's a competence. So can I trust your character, which is also in that?
Right.
And then can I trust your character? Do you care about me? Are you my advocate? And there's that kind of trust, right? And then the competence thing, which is what you're talking about.
Correct.
And so that's what we all say we want, and you read the books and you listen to that and you're like, yes, let's have trust, let's have competence. But here's what happens. The marketing machine that is out there in all industries is also at play in our industry. And they know these things about the consumers, but they also know how to cut through it like a knife and feed on that basic desire that someone wants to, the fear they have to be wrong and the desire they have to be right. And here's what that means for me in my business. And it means the same for you in your business. And I would argue for Carolee when we bring it on, it's similar in her business. Money, lowest price, right? It always comes back to that. And the thing about price, in our business, it's rate, in yours, it's premium. In real estate, it's their commission, right? It's can you do this?
Right.
Is that price is always an issue when value is unclear. And the challenge is that value in our industry is unclear until actually the closing happens. Because you actually make a decision on doing business with someone based totally on what they say, and you don't know a lot what you don't know. Once you get into the deal, you've already made your decision, I'm going to go with this person. And then 2 weeks in, you realize, holy crud, this person doesn't know what they're doing. They're a yes man, they're promising. But you know what I'm saying? So you do all this work to make a decision on someone based on this lowest common denominator, which again, in my business is rate. Right? And then you get into it and you realize, oh man, this is horrible. They don't know what they're doing. And it's too late. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
But in my business, let me tell you how this plays out all the time, and especially with refinances. And it's playing out today with repeat clients who know how tough their situation was in the first place and how we killed it for them and closed early and all that. Still, so we set up, let me tell you how we set up my business. And I'm telling you out here this too, because here's the deal. Do not call me if you want the lowest price, okay? I am not that guy. So it's cool. Just save your time and mine and my team's. I just don't want to talk to you. I love you, but I don't want to talk to you. We're not going to do business together. But if you want competitive prices and a team that's going to get it done, that's not going out there and buying credit leads because they don't know how to have a relationship and don't care about taking care of you. And as soon as you're closed, you're done and that's it. And they're going on to the next one. And hey, guess what? If you don't fit into the box, they're shoving too many in because they got to do volume because they're not making any money per deal. So good luck. You got a good, you may close. You may close on time. It may turn out all right. But is that worth 1/8 or 1/4%? I'll tell you what, it's not. Especially on a purchase. And we'll talk carefully about that in the next segment, because the worst thing that can happen is to tell your wife, hey, sweetie, day one, I got us an 1/8 lower rate. We save them $15 a month. And then the day before closing, hey, sweetie, we got to use that $15 a month for the next 10 years to keep our stuff in a truck for the next 3 days and live in a hotel for a week. And actually, we may have lost the house and our $5,000 in earnest money. But I saved us 1/8 on a deal that couldn't close because the lender's an idiot. Is that okay? I want to save you from that conversation. If you don't want to have that conversation, then just forget about the 8th. If it's not me, I'm going to tell you what, go with someone you trust. You know how you can find out who you can trust? Go to my website at andytuttle.com. And what do they sign up for? Isn't that that 4 questions you have to ask every lender? Okay, I did this whole thing just for you, the shopper, because you just really want to be right and you want to make that right decision, but you forget that we had the lowest rates in our history in 2002 to 2006, and yet we had the highest foreclosure rate, and then we went into a financial crisis. All because we bought in, you guys won, and we were like, yeah, let's all about the rate, and then we just lowered and made tons of money, and then we didn't do anything right, and we gave you everything you wanted, and it turned into a financial crisis. We don't want to have that happen again. I don't want to have that happen again. I want to take care of you, and we close loans right. And we make sure that if you need a call on Saturday at 11 o'clock, Jenny, does Ron answer that phone at 11 o'clock? Does he call people back? Some people call him at 2 a.m. And he's like, hey, how you doing? They're like, whoa. You're not supposed to answer the phone. I know, but you're a week from closing. I figured it was important. Yeah, I really had a question. Okay. So we have a team that is just there for you. It is so important. You know there's 8 companies and 32 people involved in this transaction? 8 companies and 32 people. And you know what? 80% of those guys don't get paid much. And they don't care. And they go home at 5. And who's going to corral them and rally them and make sure they get on them to get their stuff done? It's not going to be you, and it's not going to be that lender that doesn't have any money and doesn't have a team, because he's going to be in meetings, then he's got to be at closings, then he's got to do this, and he can't make that follow-up call. Okay? So you want business done right in your business. Do you have a good product that you know is better than everybody else's, but it's maybe a little bit more? Well, that's why. Do you go to a doctor, a neurosurgeon, because he's the cheapest? Do you go to the cheapest attorney when you need to get out of a situation? No, you don't. It's the same for mortgage, guys. John, am I off track here?
You are reading my script, my friend.
Sweet. Good. So we can skip your segment.
So I don't have to babble now. You just did. Thank you for
good.
that.
Was it a rant? Did I qualify that as a rant?
That's like a super rant right there. That's awesome.
All right. You saved me from this. Okay, but that's it. Here's the deal. If you want to deal with a lender that cares, that's got a team committed to you and is willing to pay for good people that have a heart for this and are going to make sure you close on time and smooth, call me. 469-319-0660. And we're stinking competitive on rates. And most of the time, since we're smarter than the other guys and we know how to watch the market, and I pay to watch the market, I have all this cool tools, I'll get you a better rate anyway. But call me, 469-319-0660, and we'll take care of you. All right, John, what you got?
You want me to follow that? Really? I was.
Drop the mic. Dan, I want a mic drop sound.
That's like break the guitar on the
Boom,
stage.
There it is.
That.
Thank
there
you.
you go.
That's right.
Well, actually, we talked about this maybe in putting this in a sports context. And the sports context on the money thing is exactly the reverse, meaning people are dealing with us and they want to save money. When you go out and get an elite athlete, you spend gobs and gobs of money, but you assume that they're going to deliver on a certain level, right?
Right.
But not all of them do. Michael Jordan. Great example. It didn't matter who he had around him. He
didn't deliver at all. What a loser.
Well, yeah, he only 6 titles in 8 years. It was terrible. But everybody around him played better. There are other sports figures. That guy that plays in New York, who shall remain nameless, that plays basketball for the Knicks, spent a lot of money on him. Does he make the team better?
They call him Mellow Yellow.
They might be the worst team in the league year in, year out. So he's not delivering the same thing that some of the other. So in our world, it's exactly the reverse. Cheap price. And you said this in the context of not knowing the value that you're getting. Everybody assumes that an insurance policy is an insurance policy. It's not. The cheaper the premium, the more likely it is that you're not going to get the coverage you need. In your case, your example, you talked about people find out at closing that maybe they have the problem. In the insurance world, you may have a policy for 5 years or more before you have a claim, and then, guess what? I've been paying this premium all this time, and I didn't really have coverage. So, yeah, huge point.
Huge point. Now, weren't you telling me, and I don't know, we're not going to name any names. I swear you were telling me a story about, like, this happened just this last week. You were looking at another policy, even for a realtor, I think.
Yeah, for a realtor. So we preach, how many times? Every time I'm on, pretty much. Difference between HOA, HOB, name perils, all risk, right? So, tired of hearing it. We have a realtor client who got her policy online, and she's got an A form. Meaning it's a name perils. None of the water endorsements are named in there. There is nothing.
Name perils we have to do this every time. It means if it's not named.
If it's not named specifically, you don't have coverage for it, right? And if it's all risk, everything's in there unless it's specifically excluded. Well, hers is on a name perils form. It says it at the top. It says HOA, and I get that maybe you forget what HOA means.
Yeah, they're thinking, there's a homeowners association with this insurance.
I look at the policy. I'm like, you have none of the water coverages in here. I showed her there's an OPIC website we refer people to. That's a neutral website, allows you to compare policies. I said, it's not me telling you that. It's the policy. Lay it side by side. And it's an eye-opener. And my issue is, can I trust you to care about me? Are you committed? Did the agent that she was dealing with ever explain that to her? Right? Shame on the agent. Maybe there's a reason why he didn't. Maybe he didn't have an alternative. But the fact that he didn't, and he didn't give her the choice to make that decision, something's not right about that.
That's right. It's not right. And that's but it's our society and we want it too. Heck, I fall into the same trap. I have to catch myself with my wife. I do the same thing. I mean, I'm not like getting on to anybody in that sense. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like, you know what? Let me make sure I do actually listen to that advice, because you need to find someone that you really trust. Who's a professional? How do you ask? The problem is we don't know how to ask the right questions.
Right.
At least in my business, that we just know lowest common denominator. What's your rate? Okay, well, there's other questions. Do they watch? Do they know even what? Do they have live access to bond pricing? Do they know what it means when the Fed changes the rate, right? Do they understand the dynamics between the financial markets? And do they care about you? Do they care enough to spend the time and the money to invest in that so that they're watching it for you on a daily basis?
Take it down to a much more basic level, though. You can tell when somebody's locked in. Are they talking to you or are they reading off a script? Do they sound like they're paying attention? If you ask them a question, do they kind of go, before they answer, or do they actually answer the question? Those are great tips. And if you don't get a good feeling from that, move on.
That's right.
You're not dealing with the right contact.
That's good. And in my business, I'll tell you, do they have a team?
Yep.
Do they have somebody else? Because if they don't, you're in trouble.
The back-end people we've been dealing with at your company are stellar. And that is huge. I can't say that for all the lenders that we deal with. That's not the case. So thank you.
Well, what do you mean? Real quick, I gotta feed it. I'm gonna clip this out later. So please.
Is this going to be another rant? This is not another rant.
No.
Okay.
30, you only got 30 seconds. So
good.
But who's just specifically? What's up?
No, we deal with a lot of processing. We'll have a deal going, and then so there's certain information we need to trade back and forth. And some of the processors and some of the companies, they don't. The information we get back, we have to keep reminding them, have to keep calling them. We don't get quality back. With your company, that's not our issue. We don't have that.
They're on top of it.
And fluidity for us is profit and effectiveness for us.
That's right.
And that means a lot. We don't have to keep having the same conversation over and over, and we don't make mistakes when people on your end are on it.
And that's the big deal, too. That's huge because those kind of little tiny things can delay a closing.
Quality operation.
In this world, that's right. And in this world right now, with TRID, post-TRID, that could all of a sudden delay you 3 days, 4 days, go from a Friday closing to the next Monday and upset everybody and blow the deal up.
In our world, it may mean that we have to cancel, rewrite the policy. It may change the premium. Now you've got one really upset client.
Oh, my God.
Right.
Guys, this is what we're talking about, cost versus price. Zig Ziglar used to talk about it. You can get a cheaper bike, right? It seems like it rides the same whatever, but then what's the maintenance on that? How many times do you have to take it back? What's the risk for your kid? The same kind of thing, guys. Cost versus price. Trust us when we're telling you. We're here talking about this, imploring you, because have you ever talked to someone that's been like, oh my God, my whole world just blew up? This is why. Don't buy into it. Don't let it be you. Go with the right professionals. Hope it's us. If it is and you feel like it is, call me, 469-319-0660. We'll get the team to walk you through the process. Let's have a mortgage planning session. We'll get you hooked up with professionals like John for insurance and Carolee for realtors. We will take care of you because we love you. We care about you. We care about our business and our clients. This is our passion and our profession. We do it every day of our lives. You do it a few times. So let the professionals help. We want to help you. Stick around. We're going to get with Carolee about how she can help. She's going to give you some good tips about what's going on out there and maybe give you a little bit of insight into that little tiny company that's trying to take over the world called Zillow. So stick around.